Okay, so my name is Helen Gardner, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about GABA and vigabatrin. Okay, a little outline on GABA. It stands for gamma aminobutyric acid, or some people just refer to it as GABA, which I'm going to do throughout this presentation just because it's easier. Um, and GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. It lessens a nerve's cell's ability to receive, create, or send chemical messages to other nerve cells. And many medical conditions are associated with changing the levels of GABA, and multiple medications target the GABA receptor. And then here's a slide about just some basics about GABA. Gamma aminobutyric acid, again, is a neurotransmitter. It's a chemical messenger in the brain, and it slows down your brain by blocking specific signals in your central nervous system. So like your brain and your spinal cord. And GABA is known for producing like a calming effect on the body, and it's thought to play a major role in controlling nerve cell hyperactivity associated with anxiety, stress, and fear. And another thing to note is that scientists also call GABA a non-protein amino acid neurotransmitter. I'll be just referring to it as GABA though. And then this slide is just about how does GABA work. So GABA is the most common inhibitory neurotransmitter in our central nervous systems, like I said in the previous slide, but that's important. And inhibitory neurotransmitters prevent or block chemical messages and decrease the stimulation of nerve cells in our brain. And neurotransmitters all generally work in the same way. They are chemical messengers that carry messages from one nerve cell in our brain to the next. And between each nerve cell is a tiny amount of fluid-filled space. It's called a synapse. And neurotransmitters must carry their messages across the synapse, and then they'll land on and bind to receptors on the next nerve cell. So this is kind of similar to like a key that can only fit and work into like one particular lock. That's kind of what this process is like. And then there are two types of GABA receptors on the nerve cells. It's GABA A and GABA B. And although they work in different ways, when GABA binds to these receptors, the result is that they decrease the responsiveness of the nerve cell. So this means that an inhibitory neurotransmitter, like GABA, lessens the ability of a nerve cell to receive, create, or send chemical messages to other nerve cells. And then now I'm just going to talk a little bit about the drug vigabatrin. Many medications have been developed that act on the GABA receptors, so this is an example of one. Vigabatrin, also known as Sabril, this is a drug used to treat seizures and spasms in infants. It can also be used in adults as well. And vigabatrin is an anticonvulsant, and it increases the amount of chemical like of GABA in the brain. And some seizures are caused by like low levels of GABA. So when vigabatrin increases GABA, it reduces the likelihood of someone having a seizure. And the drug also helps increase the amount of GABA in your central nervous system by blocking the action of an enzyme called GABA-T, GABA transaminase, sorry, which helps to break down GABA when it is not needed. And so basically, the increase in GABA functions as a brake on the excitatory processes that can initiate seizure activity. And then I also thought that it would be important to include some side effects of vigabatrin. The most common side effects in adults are blurred vision, sleepiness, dizziness, problems walking or feeling uncoordinated, shaking or tremors, and tiredness. And then the most common side effect of Sabril or vigabatrin in children to from 3 to 16 years old is just weight gain. Okay, and then here I included the chimera of vigabatrin, and this is just kind of what it looks like. And then here's some more zoomed in views of it. I thought that this was really interesting to see all the different zooms in of the chimera. And then I also thought that this would be important to kind of show. I liked this image better. And this additional chimera of GABA and the drug interaction with the molecule was just more specific, I think. And I like that this image showed the transmembrane parts, like along here in the plasma membrane, as well as the extracellular and intracellular parts of the plasma membrane. And then it was just more specific. So here's like the cis end, but that's that. And here are just some of my references. This is where I found most of my information when making this presentation. So that's just a little bit about GABA and vigabatrin.